को ये मैसेज देना चाहता है, पाकिस्तान आप में वो हिम्मत ही नहीं है कि आप G20 समिट को डिस्टर्ब कर सके।
Let's also now bring in our colleague Arunima, who in fact has been tracking these developments for us. Arunima, from yesterday to today, a lot more details have emerged. Let's first talk to you about the kind of attack this was. There were a lot of questions being raised whether this was a grenade attack or not. Now some reports suggesting that possibly an IED was used, use of a sticky bomb. What are the kind of details that you're picking up?
So two things that agencies on the ground, and there are multiple agencies involved. There's the Jammu and Kashmir Police, there's the National Investigation Agency, Army of course, the first responder there, also the intelligence agencies. So they're all on the ground, and together what they have managed to ascertain is that both bullets were fired and grenade definitely was used in this attack. On the question of whether another IED or a sticky bomb was used, the jury is still out. There are some telltale signs on grounds which seem to suggest that perhaps that was the reason why the truck went up in flames, but they're waiting for the forensic report to come out before they can say so with full certainty. So the sequence of event, as we know, is that there was first firing at that truck, and there was retaliatory fire from the side of those who were occupying the truck. The driver for one retaliated, and subsequently grenade was used. Shopkeepers who are in that vicinity, very small shops which sell very basic items, they have told the police that they did hear gunfire, and it went on for at least 5 to 7 minutes. In that 5 to 7 minutes, it was all over. The truck went up in flames and the terrorists fled from there. So that's the sequence of event that they have come up with.
Arunima, now I also want to talk to you about what possibly could have happened on the ground, because the investigation is still on. But as you're saying, a lot of agencies now looking into the work of possible locals being involved, because we're talking about an army vehicle. How did somebody even have access to that army vehicle? So is there now a possibility that they were looking at a larger convoy? There were possibly some inside hand that could have given them access to the army vehicle?
See, if indeed a sticky bomb has been used, then of course the possibility of an insider job will have to be investigated. Sticky bombs have been used in Jammu area, in Katra, in a bus, but that is easier. The bus is parked in a public space, somebody goes and just sticks the bomb at the fuel tank and moves away. But an army vehicle is parked in a secure location and doesn't really go into public spaces. So how, if at all a sticky bomb was used, how did they really stick it on? Second thing, did they expect a larger convoy? Because at least 5 terrorists were involved is what officials on ground are suspecting. At least 5, 2 of which could be local, 3, again based on eyewitness accounts, I think 3 have been ascertained to be foreign terrorists. So how did they manage to get there? Without knowing the topography, without knowing the terrain. It's a heavily forested area. It has natural caves. The suspicion is that these natural caves were used as hideouts by the terrorists, and they had stored enough supplies. So who helped them get those supplies? How did they get to this forested area? How did they know what part of the cave is secure for them? All of this could not have come without local help. So that's why that angle is being investigated too. We are told many people are currently suspects and they have been detained. Only after the questioning by various agencies who are involved will we know if anybody actually had a role to play in this attack.
Arunima, we'll just request you to stay on with us, because our colleague Ishan Vani is also now joining us on the broadcast, and he in fact is joining us from Srinagar. Ishan, a lot of developments have happened just in the last couple of hours. You've had the DGP of Jammu and Kashmir, Dilbagh Singh, on the ground. You've had teams of the NIA on the ground as well. What's happening as far as the search and combing operations are concerned?
Well, first let me take you to the latest piece of information. We are told that DG BSF has taken stock of the situation. He has also, been briefed about the entire main sector, that the alertness that the troops are maintaining, particularly the BSF. He has been also briefed about the current situation on the LC and the international border, because BSF also plays a crucial role in border domination along the international border in Jammu. Now, coming back to your question, the combing operation is on. We are told that the army, along with the Jammu and Kashmir police, are looking for those who attacked yesterday. They tried to establish a contact with the militants who had come there and escaped after firing. But there was no contact with retaliatory fire which came from the other side. So yes, there's a massive operation. In the morning, helicopters were used, and then also drones are being used. The technology is something which the forces are strongly relying upon. They are also checking the details of network and also mobile data that was at that time in that particular area, so that they can generate further leads. But it has happened in the past that in the previous attacks, soon after attacking, these groups have disappeared almost from the area. Last operation 2021, when 9 army Jawans unfortunately lost their lives. The operation continued for more than 30 days, but nobody was, they were not able to track down anybody because the terrain is very difficult. The mountains are steep, the dense forest cover is there. There is always a possibility of a surprise attack by the militants, so the forces will go step by step and try to sanitize the entire area and look for those who are responsible for this attack. Remember, this has come in wake of G20. This is something which the government has been banking upon heavily in Kashmir. They have been revamping the city. The entire Kashmir, particularly the Srinagar city, is being redecorated. So yes, the militant groups are trying to send a message, because whenever there have been certain high dignitaries visiting India, they are trying to show their presence.
Right. Ishan and Arunima, we'll request both of you to stay on with us. We're getting some other breaking developments coming in as well. There has been a crucial BSF meet in the wake of the Poonch terror attack, where we are understanding the DG BSF has also visited the frontier headquarters, BSF Jammu. So as we are understanding, the Director General of the Border Security Force arrived at the frontier headquarters BSF Jammu to review the security scenario of Jammu international border, and that meet has happened in the wake of the Poonch terror attack. Ishan Vani continues to be with us. Ishan, the BSF also now stepping in. Talk to us about what was discussed and the takeaways of this crucial meet.
Well, we are told that, the Jammu Frontier IG described the entire security scenario and area domination that the BSF is doing at the moment. Now, this meeting is particularly important in wake of that Poonch attack, because it clearly says that domination on Jammu, IB and LC in wake of a major incident is something which the BSF is keenly looking at. Then there was also a brief given about the robust domination aspect that is being done by the Jammu BSF along the international border, because at this point of time, there could be a possibility that these groups might try to sneak in and carry out attacks. We have seen that in the past, that whenever there are dignitaries coming to India, like the G20 is happening, SU is happening, these groups try to make their presence feel and try to grab the attention and the headlines. That is where the security forces would not want that to happen. They would want the area domination to be very strong, and along the IB, where a sizable number of the fence is being controlled by the BSF has alerted its troops, and now the DGBSF also visiting the headquarters there and briefing the men there that to keep the area domination on, to ensure that the tight vigil is kept. Now, in wake of this attack in Kashmir, even when the snow will start melting in Kashmir, this is the apt time when the infiltration takes place, and basically those routes which are generally used to infiltrate will also open up. So there will be a double alert, because now G20 is around the corner, SU is going to happen. On the fence, there will be double alert and vigilance that will be maintained, and even in the Srinagar city, we might see some security forces starting frisking, stopping of bikes, because we have seen in the past that bikes have been used by the outfits to transport militants to carry out attacks. So there might be a wider security plan that might be in place after some days from now.
Okay, Ishan and Arunima, thanks a lot for getting us all those details. Keep tracking those developments for us. Let's also now bring in our guest. We have retired Major General Rajan Kochar, who's a defense expert, now joining us on the broadcast. We also have strategic affairs expert Rubinder Sachdev also joining us. Gentlemen, good to have both of you on the broadcast with us. General Kochar, I'd like to begin the conversation with you first. With the kind of details that we have as of now, it is now being confirmed that definitely a grenade was used. There is also a possibility that probably a sticky bomb was used as well. What does it look to you? What is the kind of pattern that is emerging from the details that we have so far?
Basically, what I feel is, from whatever information has come about, this was not a convoy. It was an individual vehicle moving on the road. It had it belonged to the Rashtra Rifle, which is part of the Romeo force of this area, and it was returning after a road opening party duty. These ROPs are done on practically daily basis.
Yeah.
Whenever large convoys are moving on the road, their actually duty is to sanitize the entire road on both sides of the road. So there would be a pattern. They would be observing, these militants who would be observing that there is a movement like this happening, and it is it's a systematic movement. It's a routine kind of a movement which takes place whenever the role-playing parties return. So the vulnerability aspect I just want to bring out here is that it would be a single vehicle and it would be easy to target. Second, that how it has happened, what would actually happen is, of course, the NIA would be able to bring out whether an IED was used or some other method, but the use of sticky bomb cannot be ruled out.
Sure.
And why I'm saying that is that when a single vehicle is moving, it would be fired upon because these militants would be in ambush.
Yeah.
And they would fire, and a moment a vehicle is fired upon, the drill is that all those people who are inside the vehicle, they immediately dismount and take positions. And in that kind of a confusion, there is a probability that one of the militants would have stuck a sticky bomb there. A possibility of a grenade also cannot be ruled out because
Sure.
the fuel tank is there, and if the grenade lands somewhere near the fuel tank,
Yeah.
the vehicle will get blown apart.
Yeah.
So these are the possibilities.
Yeah.
Point number one, it would be
Yeah.
an ambush. Point number two, it
So
could
you're
be a
saying the
sticky bomb.
possibility of
And
an
point number
IED
three
and
could
a
be a
sticky
grenade.
bomb as of now cannot be ruled out. Also, what really led to this terror attack, whether there were locals involved, whether there was an inside person who possibly gave them access to the army vehicle, all those questions, these remain still answered. But I want to bring in Rubinder also in the conversation. Rubinder, the timing of when this terror attack has happened, many experts are now saying it's very well planned considering the fact you have the G20 summit happening. So they want to create some sort of unrest. Do you think that explanation or that rationale is correct considering the situation is already sensitive?
Well, thank you very much. A pleasure to be with you. No, absolutely, certainly is. See, either which way, the timing is suspect, either by design, if whosoever has, kind of taken this step, if it's by design, or is it, even if it's a coincidence, either which way, this is making news and visibility and, raising the spectacle or the issue that, Kashmir, there is violence, there is militancy. Now, if there is militancy, that is good news or bad news for us. But for the militants, it's good news because, they're able to bring out the fact that there is militancy because the local populations in Kashmir or Jammu and Kashmir are unhappy and they're not getting justice in their own country. So either which way, it's something from the point of an insurgent or a militant, something, and that's what they're looking to score. They're oftentimes, half the job of a terrorist is to create waves or news that there is terror around, which in turn reinforces the idea of terror. So similarly, I think the timing definitely is suspect. Now, whether it's really by design, if they had the ability, yes, if they were planning out something, then maybe for them it's better to plan it around the G20 than plan it a month ago or a month later. Correct. So the timing is certainly suspect, and it will certainly, bring up in the headlines, which is what these guys want.
So you think that this is just to try and get some attention at this point, considering the fact there are big events that are expected and scheduled to happen in the days and weeks to come. Major General, I want to come back to you and I want to try and understand as far as the topography of the location is concerned. Initial reports were suggesting that weather could have played a crucial role, that they could have used heavy rains, the vulnerable weather as far as this terror attack is concerned. That's one thing. Talk to us about the topography. How sensitive is this area? How difficult will it be as far as the search and combing operations are concerned? And secondly, I also want to understand as far as this OGW nexus or the overground workers are concerned, this is something that the NIA is also not ruling out at this point.
You're absolutely right. See, terrain plays a very important role, and the selection of a target. If the terrorists have decided to use Poonch as an area, they would have their reasons of doing so because the getaway is very, very easy.
Okay.
And very difficult to catch hold of these terrorists after an attack has taken place. I will take your attention to 2021 from 11th October to 27th October. our search party there was ambushed by these terrorists and we lost 11 men. And we carried out a search operation for 45 days. And we could not catch them because of the terrain. It's a thickly wooded area, a number of caves there, and easy to hide, and very close to the border. So what happens is that if you are able to get away even a few kilometers away from the incident, you will be able to make out your way back to Pakistan.
Okay.
The second aspect is that you talked about the overground workers and people. We cannot rule out the connivance of certain elements of the local population here, because any attack which takes place on our soil cannot be without internal support. There has to be a logistics involved. There has to be a support involved. There has to be a certain amount of reconnaissance and information.
And that is what agencies on the ground are currently looking into, sir, as well. And that's why we're understanding that these suspects who've been held at this point possibly could be local shopkeepers or others as well, to try and understand if they were the first ones to saw something when this truck actually caught fire. I'll just request our guests to stay on with us. Let's just listen into some reactions and then we'll continue this conversation.
वो आपने सबने देखा, बॉर्डर के करीब है और कहीं ना कहीं तो सिक्योरिटी का मामला होगा. इनको वो सिक्योरिटी चेक करनी चाहिए थी. 5 जवान इस दुनिया से चले गए. गलती तो कहीं है, इसको देखना चाहिए.
बड़ी दर्दनाक घटना है. पिछले कुछ महीनों पहले भी इस प्रकार का प्रयास किया गया था हमला करने का. तो मुझे लगता है कि एक तो जो जवानों की शहादत हुई है उसके प्रति मैं संवेदना व्यक्त करता हूँ, लेकिन अभी उन लोगों को मार तो गिराया जाएगा जल्द, इसमें कोई दो राय नहीं है. सेना और जो सुरक्षा बल हैं अपने अपने काम पर लगे हुए हैं, लेकिन अभी भी ये पाकिस्तान की तरफ से घुसपैठ या हथियारों का आना जाना रहता है, जिसके माध्यम से कुछ न कुछ लोग एक्टिव हैं.
प्रधानमंत्री श्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी के नेतृत्व में जम्मू कश्मीर विकास की ओर, शांति की ओर बढ़ रहा. पत्थरबाजों के बजाय अब जम्मू कश्मीर के अंदर विकास की गाथा गाई जा रही है. प्रधानमंत्री मोदी जी के प्रयासों से आतंकवाद भी खत्म हुआ है और आतंकवादियों की आयु भी कम हुई है. एक शांति का, विकास का और विश्वास का माहौल बना है. ये षड्यंत्र, ये देश को तोड़ने के प्रयास, ये विदेशी एजेंसियों के प्रयास कामयाब नहीं होंगे. दोषी बख्शे नहीं जाएंगे.
Let's continue the conversation with our guest. And Rubinder, now coming to you. Now, of course, as we discussed earlier, that the timing is suspect. There is big events that are scheduled, so they would like to create some sort of unrest, so as, sense of panic can be spread across the valley. And this is a very typical pattern that we've seen in the past events as well. But what does it explain as far as the activities that are happening across the border? We already know the kind of drones that are being used, the kind of infiltration attempts that are being made. What is the kind of vigilance amp up that we need to ensure these attacks don't happen in the future?
Well, thank you so much. I think, very plainly speaking, common sense does say that, whatever be the levels of our border infrastructures, they need to be ramped up. Now, I don't know exactly to what level they are and therefore to what level they can ramp up, but the proof of the pudding lies in the eating. So our border infrastructures, and of course, General Kocher would add to it, need to be definitely ramped up, but there are challenges. Of course, we understand. One is the challenge of the entire topography or the geography of the region, the mountains, the ravines, the rivers, the jungles, etc. The second are the challenges which you yourself have just now identified, as in the drones and new technologies, etc. How many of such drones and what kinds of drones can be intercept and stop, right? Anti-drone itself is a new emerging field, and anti-drone technologies, they may accomplish something, but they may not be able to accomplish much also. So, weapons across the borders, drugs across the borders, etc., money across the borders, be it counterfeit money for India or be it in dollar currency notes, etc. So drones are definitely a challenge that we can understand, but there can be other emerging ways and methods which can be used. So one, yes, our border, border infrastructure, you call it whatever, the wall, if we can, but it's going to be difficult for us. To top it all, within Pakistan, there is so much of, uncertainty, there is so much of chaos currently, and this will not, be solved in the coming years even. The economic troubles of Pakistan, which Pakistan is going through, the anarchy out there, which further seeds militancy, and the Pakistan state wants to divert the attention away from happenings inside Pakistan towards the enemy, quote unquote, India. Right.
Yeah.
And to top it all, also you have, and we all have, or perhaps forgotten about Afghanistan.
Sure.
Afghanistan is a no man's and a forgotten land right now.
I agree with the points that you're making.
Afghanistan?
Yeah. All those events also have an impact as far as the patterns that are emerging. And that's exactly what I want to discuss with Major General Kochhar as well. That for some time now, we've been discussing that there has been a shift as far as the terror attacks and the terror plot is concerned. The locations that they're choosing, the pattern in which they're attacking, and the people that they're attacking themselves. In the past, we've seen a lot of attacks happen in urban areas, but that seems to have changed. They seems to be hiding in jungles. Do you think that's a deliberate attempt as far as the ploy of attack itself is concerned?
It's a very good question you have asked. The counter-terrorism grid of the Indian Army, the CRPF, the BSF, and the JNK police is extremely strong in South Kashmir area, especially the 15 core area, because that area is predominantly Muslim populated, and more of local support is there for these terrorists. Now, if you look at these areas of Poonch and Rajouri, they are basically Hindu dominated. And here, there have been, in the last 2 years, since there has been an attack in Naushera, there has been an attack in Poonch. So this is the third attack on the Indian Army forces out of the 5 attacks which have taken place after Article 370. So you can see there is a pattern, there is a focus on this area now, because it is possibly easier for the terrorists to operate in this area and not get noticed. Because in those areas of Baramulla and Sopore and all those areas, Anantnag and all those hotbeds, there is a very strong counter-terrorism grid already functional, and a lot of intelligence and information is available in real time. It is these areas which are supposedly less vulnerable as far as we are concerned are being exploited by the terrorists now, because they are able to get into this area easily and get out of this area easily. So there would be a rethink required by the security forces on how best we can tighten the counter terrorism and counter infiltration, I would say, actually, because here it is more of infiltration.
So because this change of strategy has happened, possibly a rethink as to how to counter this is also needed on the ground. Unfortunately, I'll have to leave that conversation there. Appreciate both our guests taking out the time and joining us here. We'll keep tracking all these developments as and when they come in. Shifting our focus to the other big story that we're tracking at this hour. Union Home Minister Amit Shah has cancelled his roadshow due to rains in Karnataka in Devanhalli. The Prime Minister dialed senior BJP leader K.S. Ishwarappa and asked about his health in general and also about the party's preparations as far as Karnataka is concerned. K.S. Ishwarappa assured him a victory of the party in elections. This comes after K.S. Ishwarappa's son was denied a ticket from the party. On the other hand, State Congress Chief D.K. Shivkumar's nomination has been accepted from the Kanakpura constituency.
Today is a day when Prime Minister has proved former Governor Satyapal Malik right कि प्रधानमंत्री जी को करप्शन से कोई खास ऐतराज नहीं है. We all saw Prime Minister's video talking to Shri Ishwarappa, joking with him, supporting him, trying to assimilate him back into their fold. I ask you, as a citizen of India, Mr. Prime Minister Modi, wasn't Mr. Ishwarappa sacked as a minister because a BJP leader and worker Santosh Patel committed suicide?
And as the battleground for Karnataka continues to heat up, News 18's Rohini Swami spoke to Karnataka Revenue Minister R. Ashok, who has been fielded from Kanakpura by the BJP, and he'll be up against the Congress State President D.K. Shivkumar.
The fight right now, what is your Brahmastra against the DK brothers? Because it's Ashok versus DK brothers now and not just DK Shivkumar.
No, I thought when I contested in Kanakpura, naturally DK Kumar, I thought he will come to Kanakpura. He will contest in 2 seats. That's not happened because is a problem. That's why they decided. Today I saw in the news also hired DK Suresh is one more by nomination. Independent nomination filed by the DK Suresh. I think they are in confusion. Only 20 members now, 4,000, 5,000 people. Where they came? Another 20 days is there. There is a BJP. Narendra Modi will come. Amit Shah will come. Uttar Pradesh CM will come. So how to face? So that's I think you will not go anywhere in Karnataka for the campaign. Only he have to stay in Kanakpura. That's why I think he made a strategy. At least DK Suresh may contest. He can travel all over the Karnataka, I thought.
Ashok sir, it's very interesting. Last time when we spoke, you had told me that in Kanakpura, मेरे पास नरेंद्र मोदी है, अमित शाह है, DK शिवकुमार के पास क्या है? I asked DK Shivkumar the same question, and he said कि हर घर में शिवकुमार है, वो मेरे लिए लड़ेंगे. He will fight. They will fight the fight for me against Ashok, and he's welcoming the fight that is the high voltage fight in Kanakpura. But in terms of how do you plan to challenge this?
What happening in Kanakpura? That's this is benefit to BJP. I told because have a मेरा पास मोदी जी है, आपका पास क्या है? DK कुमार का पास DK सुरेश है, मनी है, कार है. मेरा पास एक आदमी है, मोदी है. That is the winning factor of Mr. Ashoka in Kanakpura.
My last question to you, you said they have fear, that is DK Shivkumar and DK brothers for now. Does DK Shivkumar fear R. Ashok? DK brothers fear R. Ashok? Or does the DK brothers fear Narendra Modi?
No. I given a challenge to Mr. DK Shivkumar. I will contest, I will request the people of Kanakpura. You want Modi and Ashok government in Kanakpura or Rahul Gandhi and DK Shivkumar government in Kanakpura. This is the only one subject in Kanakpura. All the election from starting to ending day. This is the one slogan I will always tell the people of Kanakpura.
And we're shifting our focus back to the Poonch terror attack. India pays tributes to the 5 martyrs who lost their lives in the terror attack.
In the deadliest strike since Pulwama, 5 Jawans were martyred in a terror ambush in the Poonch district of Jammu and Kashmir. Their families are devastated, distraught and inconsolable. Martyr Lance Naik Devashish Biswal of Odisha's Algam district leaves behind elderly parents, a young wife and a 7-month-old daughter. He laid down his life on Thursday as terrorists attacked an army vehicle while it was moving from Bimbar Gully to Sangiod in Poonch district. Taking advantage of dense forest and low visibility in the area, terrorists ambushed the army truck with Martyr Kulwant Singh on board. He was a resident of Chadik village in Moga. His father was also martyred in Kargil. He leaves behind a 3-month-old son and a 1.5-year-old daughter. He had been married for just 2 years. He had taken leave just a month back, recalls his friends and neighbors.
ਪਹਿਲੀ ਗੱਲ ਤਾਂ ਦੁੱਖ ਵੀ ਬਹੁਤ ਹੈ ਤੇ ਖੁਸ਼ੀ ਵੀ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਬਹੁਤ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਸਾਡਾ ਨਾਲ ਦਾ ਸਾਥੀ ਫੌਜੀ ਸ਼ਹੀਦ ਹੋਇਆ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਉਹ ਇਸ ਧਰਤੀ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਦੇਸ਼ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਉਹਨੇ ਆਪਣਾ ਸਰੀਰ ਪੂਰਾ ਕੁਰਬਾਨ ਕਰਤਾ
शहीद हुआ है उसके परिवार को जो भी उसकी रक्षा की जाए जो भी उसकी सहायता की जाए और जो जिसने भी ये काम किया उसको शहीद किया उनको मुंह तोड़ जवाब दिया जाए।
Martyr Constable Harkrishna Singh's family is in complete shock. He was only 28 years old. He travelled in the ill-fated vehicle which engulfed in flame in Jammu's Poonch district after it was fired upon by unidentified terrorists around 3 p.m. yesterday.
ਸਾਡਾ ਬੱਚਾ ਕੱਲ ਪੁੰਛ ਸਾਈਡ ਤੇ ਉਗਰਵਾਦੀਆਂ ਨਾਲ ਲੋਹਾ ਲੈਂਦੇ ਹੋਏ ਸ਼ਹੀਦ ਹੋ ਗਏ। ਸਾਨੂੰ ਆਪਣੇ ਬੱਚੇ ਤੇ ਮਾਣ ਹੈ। ਦੇਸ਼ ਕੌਮ ਦੀ ਰੱਖਿਆ ਕਰਦੇ ਕਰਦੇ ਸ਼ਹੀਦ ਹੋ ਗਏ ਨੇ।
Martyr Havildar Mandeep Singh and Sepoy Sevak Singh were among the 5 personnel of the Rashtriya Rifles unit deployed for counter-terrorist operations in the area. 39-year-old Mandeep Singh was a resident of Doraha town in Ludhiana. Singh is survived by his mother, wife, 9-year-old son and 11-year-old daughter.
फार्मर्स की माता जी हैं जी, उसकी घरवाली है, 2 बच्चे हैं और भाई हैं 2। मोटा मोटा उन्होंने बताया कि ऐसे ऐसे करके आईडी ब्लास्ट हुआ है। आईडी ब्लास्ट के कारण गाड़ी को नुकसान हुआ। गाड़ी में कोई पता नहीं क्या कौन सी चीज़ पड़ी थी जिसको आग लगी।
Massive manhunt is on to locate the perpetrators even as the dense jungles are making the operations of forces difficult. Families mourn loss of the Jawans martyred in Poonch. They say their sacrifice should not go in vain. Bureau Inputs, CNN News 18.
That is where that is where security forces or army might not want to go in, launch an attack, but carefully, tactfully use their resources and launch this particular attack where they could be able to either nab them down or neutralize those militants who are behind this particular attack. As I was pointing out earlier, that there is a large presence or a small presence of these militant outfits in Poonch Rajouri belt, because they have been on and off carrying out attacks, be it on civilians. Last time we saw Dangri, where multiple people lost their lives. There were IEDs placed inside the houses. And then we also saw before that, as I was pointing out, that there was an attack which took place in the same area, same belt, where more than 6 soldiers lost their lives, including 2 junior commissioned officers. So that is a matter of concern for the security forces, but they have been cracking down on those elements who have been previously involved in such incidents or could still have links with those who are providing them overground support, because OGWs are the people who logistics and daily routine or route, because most of the it's mostly possible that those who are behind this attack could be from outside India, could be from Pakistan, and that is why security forces will be extra vigilant to not only trap them down but also bring down the whole network which is behind this particular attack. But the LOC is not far away. We don't yet know whether it's a freshly infiltrated group or it was a group which was operational in that part, because recently when these attacks have taken place, and PAFF was a shadow organization of Jaish and Lashkar combined, have done these attacks and then disappeared. They haven't come out, doing attacks after, few days or few months, but they have taken their own time and then planned and carried out attacks. So security forces might be very well aware about the fact. But if you look at the vehicle, there's also possibility. We don't know yet what the investigation is looking like, but yes, there's also a possibility because we have seen sticky bombs being placed. How did the vehicle caught fire? The army for now says that it was a grenade. Which resulted in catching of fire of the vehicle. There were bullets which were fired at them. There is also, in the video where we can hear bullet sounds. That is speculative fire that the army does. when they want to locate the enemy, when they want to locate the person who has fired at it. But there was no response, it seems like, from the militant side, which means that they wanted to carry out this attack and ambush and then run away from the area. That has been how they have been operating largely in Poonch, Rajouri, Doda, and all these areas in recent past. But yes, there has been a large crackdown, and I will also, as part of its investigation, visit the spot and try to figure out that, the sort of way in which this attack was carried out.
Arunima, did we have any intel input before this attack actually took place?
So the analysis in the security grid is that this attack has been carried out to give a message ahead of G20 about the safety and security. Targeting an army vehicle is meant to also hit the morale of the forces there. This was a Rashtriya Rifles vehicle, one which was carrying ration in most likelihood. And the modus operandi of the terrorists was very clear. Target them in an area which is heavily forested, an isolated road, so to say. Target them with firing and grenade. And because the vehicle itself has fuel, then when you fire, the vehicle itself can become an incendiary device. So the strategy also seemed very clear. And this area, heavily forested, has natural caves very close to the line of control. So to escape also, the terrorists have the cover of the natural foliage in that area. So well planned and well thought out is what the security grid feels.
5 army soldiers were killed in a terror attack in Jammu and Kashmir's Poonch district on Thursday around 3 p.m. Now, according to intel sources, the attack was done by Lashkar-e-Taiba. The attack on the army vehicle happened while it was moving from Bhimber Gali to Sangyot, which is around 10 kilometers from the LOC. One Jawan was
Welcome back. Thanks a lot for staying with us. There's a lot that's happening as far as microblogging platform Twitter is concerned. Twitter has removed legacy verified blue badges or the blue ticks from all accounts starting today. Many eminent personalities in India and celebrities like Shah Rukh Khan, Amitabh Bachchan, cricketer Virat Kohli to even Beyonce, they've all lost their blue badges that helped verify their identity and also distinguish them from imposters on the microblogging platform. These are accounts that were not paying the monthly fee as far as Twitter Blue, the subscription service, is concerned. Now, as per Elon Musk's new policy, only those individuals who are going to pay for the Twitter Blue subscription will have a blue badge against them. So what does this then mean as far as the future of the platform is concerned? Let's also now bring in our guest to try and understand whether users will actually want to pay this fee or will this actually lose to Twitter losing a lot of influential people. I have with me Manish Maheshwari. He's the co-founder at Fanery, also the former Twitter India CEO. We also have Suhail Seth joining us, author and commentator. Gentlemen, good to have both of you on the broadcast with us. Suhail, I'd like to begin the conversation with you first. You have about 4.6 million followers on Twitter as of now. Your blue badge has also been taken away. Will you cave in? Would you want to pay for this blue badge now?
Not at all. I'm like Groucho Marx. I wouldn't want to be any member of a club that would have me. I mean, why would I pay? It's not the amount, it's the ethics. I have 4.6 million followers for a reason. Either they hate me or they love me or they think I add value to their lives or deplete their value. So there's a service that I'm providing Elon Musk. I mean, B, Ridhima, it's very important for you to understand that this verification was instituted in the first place to separate the wheat from the chaff, so that there were no parody accounts, that people weren't using your name and your photograph and actually tweeting stuff that was reprehensible or non-kosher. Now, if things have changed, that's Elon Musk's problem. I don't think I'm going to lose any followers. I'm not interested in writing essays on Twitter. As famously was said, George Bernard Shaw's prefaces were longer than his plays. I'm no Bernard Shaw. So I'm happy with the Twitter account. I'm happy with life as it is. And what's even more important, Ridhima, is that now everyone will know that people have paid in order to be recognized. I mean, that is the worst thing you can ever do. It's like telling people that I'm throwing money at Musk, and therefore I must.
Okay. Manish, let me bring you also in the conversation. Of course, this is a conversation that we've had multiple times over the last few months, that what will this actually mean for the platform? But the day has finally come. Now, if you take Suhail, for example, when I try searching him on Twitter, there are multiple people and profiles that show up, and now I really wouldn't know who the real Sohail Seth is or who the real Manish Maheshwari is. The big concern now is that what if there is going to be a lot of impersonation? How will you try to distinguish between what is an authentic account and what is a troll? What do you think this means as far as the future of the platform itself is concerned?
Yeah, no, I think I agree with what Sohail said, and I want to build on this point that, you know, people like Sohail or any kind of creator who have a massive fan following and sort of who have great content to share, they're actually doing a service to the platform. And I think it's ridiculous to expect them to pay, because people come to Twitter to listen to prominent personalities and get content from them. And so in that sense, these creators are providing a service, and now expecting them to pay is certainly not going to fly in my view. Secondly, it will lead to a negative and a perverse incentive, right? So people who actually should not have blue tick will now have the incentive to go and get a blue tick because it's available for $8. And people who actually add value, they will not get the blue tick, and that would lead to chaos and impersonation, because today anyone with a Sohail kind of a name be there on the platform and you wouldn't know who is the original person. Now that will lead to many complications downstream. And the second problem also is about the fact that, you know, the entire goodwill that has been generated and created has been lost overnight, right? The whole blue tick definition has been changed. And when you make a change in a transition and you want to commercialize this aspect, you don't do it this way. You do it in a very thoughtful manner, right? Sure. And I kind of feel like this is literally the last straw that broke camel's back as far as Twitter is concerned. And I do know from my own relationship and my contacts that many of the creators are not quite happy with this. They are looking for alternates. And I think they are going to other media platforms. In fact, what I run now, Fenori, is a creator monetization platform. And we exactly solve this problem that, you know, if you're a creator, you want to be in control of your destiny. You want to control every aspect of who you are. You don't want to be known or driven by what social media platform policies are. And that is what we do at Fenori. We give them digital destination. And many of the top creators in the country have reached out to us after this change at Twitter, because they want to have their own online destination.
Sure.
And what they have come to realize is that no matter how many followers they have on a platform like Twitter, or for that matter on Instagram or YouTube, these followers don't belong to them, or that handle that they think is their handle, it actually belongs to a social media platform. And any of these platforms can change any policy.
So you actually think that this it possibly looks like a gamble by Elon Musk at this point, and it possibly could lead to a lot of authentic users now looking at other avenues. Sohail, I want to bring you back in the conversation, and what I want to understand is the rationale that is being given by Elon Musk. Since day one, he made it very clear he wants to make Twitter profitable, so this is a means of monetizing it. But as far as this entire debate of wanting to take away the blue tick, he said that till now it was not a level playing field. What he calls it was a peasant and lordship system. Do you see any merit in the argument that Musk has made?
No, and I must paraphrase everything by saying Elon Musk is intellectually innocent. You know, you can become wealthy, but doesn't mean you have brains. And let me tell you why. This argument about peasants and lordships is stupid, for the simple reason that this is not about stature linked to wealth. It's about, as Mahesh said, it's about stature, whatever linked to the content that you create. A. B. Can you imagine, Ridhima, the amount of lawsuits this joker is going to open himself and his platform to? Because imagine someone is parodying me and using my name. I'm going to actually sue the guy silly, but I'm also going to sue Twitter for allowing this person without verifying to use my name, to use my photograph. I mean, this is impersonation which will never fly in any court of law. And by the way, I'm not going to sue Elon Musk in India. I'm going to sue him in America, where it really hurts. Number 3, as Mahesh said, the point is, it is not about ego. It's not about, oh, I've got a blue tick. Today, what you're doing is you're making it a democratic platform in your head, but actually you're creating chaos. Because in that chaos, what's going to happen is people are going to start using abuse and disabuse as a mechanism and weaponization of their content. Who's going to control that? And mark my words, this will be withdrawn. We are on April 21. Mark my words, it's not long before Elon Musk will withdraw this. He is the biggest ditherer on the planet.
You know, as somebody
Before
asked
you
me
need to
earlier
go-
in the day that do you think this will change? I said with Elon Musk, you never really know, right? There have been so many twists and turns already, so we really don't know what the future will be. But Manish, I want to come back to you, and I agree with the point that Suhail is making. Those are exactly the concerns. What happens as far as content moderation is concerned? What happens to the free run that is being given to trolls today? A lot of influential people wanted to use Twitter as a platform to create awareness as well. It was used for SOS and emergency groups as well. How is any of the distinction going to be made going forward?
No, it's going to be very difficult now, right? So anyone can pay $8 and get a blue tick. So, it opens up the floodgate for anyone to misuse the system. And the internal systems have to be overhauled to deal with the new reality. So I don't know how well prepared they are, but there was an existing system. I wish they would have done it in steps versus doing it overnight. And I also believe, I agree with Suhail that, they will realize the problem, and I think they would probably come back. They will go back on this change, and they would probably make a few other changes as well. Because even if you think from a commercial perspective, having people pay $8 a month, I don't know how much revenues that will make, right, for the company.
Yeah.
On the other hand, the kind of chaos and other issues that it will open up, that will lead to an impact on the advertising money. And I think 90% of the money for Twitter comes from advertisers. So I believe that even commercially, it's not a very good decision. Forget about the morality and sort of the other process around how to do it, right? I mean, I'm not even going into that because one can still debate that. But if you just look at it pragmatically from a business standpoint, number one, it's not good commercially. Number two, it's not good for your reputation among the creators, right? I mean, why would creators trust you? People who have built a great fan following, people who were highly accomplished, people who had something authentic to say. I mean, all those people have been leveled with anyone else on the market who can pay $8. So clearly, it sends a very wrong signal, right? I mean, you feel like cheated on this platform. So that will really lead to creators now looking for alternatives. And I think things will not look good for Twitter for at least for some time until they come back and look for make some changes in the way it is right now.
Suhail, lastly, before I wrap this discussion, I just want to understand, as far as optics for Twitter are concerned, Manish is saying it will actually not work in its favor. It's a possibility that we could see Elon Musk going back on it. Till now, if having a verified badge was being seen as, quote unquote cool for the lack of any other word, do you think today not having a blue badge is going to be the new norm and the new cool?
I think so. I think people are. Sorry, go ahead.
You see what I've done what I've said on Twitter. I said I'm delighted I don't have the blue tick. People are going to use inverse snobbery, as simple as that. And what is happening, Ridhima, very interestingly, is people who have the blue tick will sadly be ashamed because everyone knows that they haven't got it on merit. They've got it on their capacity to pay. So when when money is the yardstick and not content, in any case, you're shamed. Yeah. So I know a lot of people who well could afford it. I mean, all of us could afford it, but we won't do it.
Yeah.
Because we are playing into the hands of Elon Musk, and that's not kosher.
Okay. Unfortunately, gentlemen, I'll have to leave that conversation there. Manish Maheshwari as well as Suhail Seth. Always a pleasure speaking to both of you. We'll have to leave that discussion there. We're quickly shifting our focus to some breaking developments coming in. And this is as far as the firing that happened at the Saket court earlier in the day. A team of Delhi Police Crime Branch has now arrested the accused who fired at a woman in the Saket court premises earlier in the day. So the accused, in fact, has been nabbed as far as the Delhi police is concerned. Remember, this entire episode happened somewhere around 10:30 this morning. There was firing that was reported from the Saket court. There was a woman that was injured. There were, in fact, 2 people who were injured, shifted to a nearby hospital. Their condition is stable as of now. Nikhil Lakhwani joining us with more details. Nikhil, what do we know as far as the person who's been arrested?
Well, the accused who opened fire at that particular woman, he has been arrested. His name is Kameshwar Singh. He's also known as Manoj Singh. He is already, as mentioned earlier as well, that he is someone who is already suspended by the Bar Council. So finally, he has been arrested by the Delhi police. And it is also not safe to let these kind of people remain open in the public space. So finally, he has been arrested. We informed our viewers earlier this noon that the teams have been formed to nab him at the earliest. And also, as far as the details are concerned, we have been given to understand by the highly placed sources in the Delhi police that the difference was over the monetary transaction between the accused and the victim person. And the victim lady, she has been arrested. She is undergoing the treatment at the Max Saket Hospital, at a private hospital in the nearby vicinity. But so far, the details suggest that he has finally been arrested by a team of the Punjab police. But also, the further statements are being recorded because that particular woman as well, she was also here for the hearing in some of the case, and she is also said to be one of the accused, one of the case. And there was some sort of dispute between the victim and the accused, but finally the details are that the accused person has been arrested.
Okay, Nikhil, we leave the conversation there. Thanks a lot for getting us all those details. Time for us to slip into a very short break. Don't go anywhere. We're coming back with lots more.
Troops, and those additional troops also came under fire, that is where security forces or army might not want to go in, launch an attack, but carefully, tactfully use their resources and launch this particular attack where they could be able to either nab them down or neutralize those militants who are behind this particular attack. As I was pointing out earlier, that there is a large presence or a small presence of these militant outfits in Poonch Rajouri belt, because they have been on and off carrying out attacks, be it on civilians. Last time we saw Dangri, where multiple people lost their lives. There were IEDs placed inside the houses. And then we also saw before that, as I was pointing out, that there was an attack which took place in the same area, same belt, where more than six soldiers lost their lives, including 2 junior commissioned officers. So that is a matter of concern for the security forces, but they have been cracking down on those elements who have been previously involved in such incidents or could still have links with those who are providing them overground support, because OGWs are the people who logistics and daily routine or route, because most of it's mostly possible that those who are behind this attack could be from outside India, could be from Pakistan, and that is why security forces will be extra vigilant to not only trap them down but also bring down the whole network which is behind this particular attack. But the LOC is not far away. We don't yet know whether it's a freshly infiltrated group or it was a group which was operational in that part, because recently when these attacks have taken place, and PAFF was a shadow organization of Jaish and Lashkar combined, have done these attacks and then disappeared. They haven't come out, doing attacks after, few days or few months, but they have taken their own time and then planned and carried out attacks. So security forces might be very well aware about the fact. But if you look at the vehicle, there's also possibility. We don't know yet what the investigation is looking like, but yes, there's also possibility because we have seen sticky bombs being placed. How did the vehicle caught fire? The army for now says that it was a grenade, which resulted in catching of fire of the vehicle. There were bullets which were fired at them. There is also, in the video where we can hear bullet sounds. That is speculative fire that the army does when they want to locate the enemy, when they want to locate the person who has fired at it. But there was no response, it seems like, from the militant side, which means that they wanted to carry out this attack and ambush and then run away from the area. That has been how they have been operating largely in Poonch, Rajouri, Doda, and all these areas in recent past. But yes, there has been a large crackdown, and I will also, as part of its investigation, visit the spot and try to figure out that, the sort of way in which this attack was carried out.
Arunima, did we have any intel input before this attack actually took place?
So the analysis in the security grid is that this attack has been carried out to give a message ahead of G20 about the safety and security. Targeting an army vehicle is meant to also hit the morale of the forces there. This was a Rashtriya Rifles vehicle, one which was carrying ration in most likelihood. And the modus operandi of the terrorists was very clear. Target them in an area which is heavily forested, an isolated road, so to say. Target them with firing and grenade. And because the vehicle itself has fuel, then when you fire, the vehicle itself can become an incendiary device. So the strategy also seemed very clear. And this area, heavily forested, has natural caves very close to the line of control. So to escape also, the terrorists have the cover of the natural foliage in that area. So well planned and well thought out is what the security grid feels.
5 army soldiers were killed in a terror attack in Jammu and Kashmir's Poonch district on Thursday around 3 p.m. Now, according to intel sources, the attack was done by Lashkar-e-Taiba. The attack on the army vehicle happened while it was moving from Bhimber Gali to Sangyot, which...
Welcome back. Thanks a lot for staying with us. Some breaking developments now coming in. And this is as far as the Poonch terror attack is concerned, where intelligence sources are telling us here at CNN News 18 that Pakistan has been supporting terrorist groups that are attempting to infiltrate the valley before the G20 meetings. More than 24 Lashkar terrorists are reportedly planning to enter the areas and then launch attacks. The sources also indicate that these Lipa Valley and Nagaon sectors are the highlighted ones in the intel. Additionally, there is a possibility that Lashkar and Jaish terrorists may attempt another attack on security forces in Pulwama. Akash is getting us these updates. Akash, what are sources telling you?
You see, Ridhima, we have seen this attack yesterday, and this was not the only one. In fact, now sources are telling that before the G20 meetings, in fact, we know that how several events are scheduled up in Srinagar, in fact, and before the G20 meetings, Pakistan-supported terror groups, terrorists basically are in process of entering Kashmir. They are trying to infiltrate, and we are learning that more than 24, in fact, 24 or 25 is the number as far as sources are concerned, that these terrorists are basically trying to infiltrate from different launch pads. And in fact, two groups, one from Sangha, the other one from Lipa Valley, and two separate groups from different areas, and specifically from Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. So these groups are basically trying to infiltrate, and not just infiltrate, but they can, in fact, they may attempt another, Pulwama kind of attack. In fact, this is what intel sources are saying. However, on the other hand, we have all other preparations. In fact, in the yesterday's, attack, a massive search operation is underway, and officers are somewhere confident that they'll be able to nab the terrorists, and not just nab, but if required, they'll neutralize them. And all the protocols and all the other safety measures will be followed. So this is a big development that we are getting on the basis of the information that we have received from our sources, that more than 24 terrorists are basically trying to infiltrate before G20 meetings.
So as Akash is pointing out, there is, yes, combing operations happening, search operations happening, but intelligence sources also believe that because there is a very crucial G20 summit that is scheduled to happen next month, there could be another attack to try and create some sort of unrest. What Akash is also picking up is that there are almost more than 24 Lashkar terrorists that are reportedly planning to enter the area and then launch this attack. Remember, all of this is very crucial in the aftermath of the Poonch terror attack that has happened, that has claimed lives of 5 brave hearts, the 5 Jawans. Akash, we'll leave the conversation there. We'll keep tracking those developments. For now, completely out of time, but news continues here on CNN News 18. Plain Speak is up next.
Welcome everyone. Thanks a lot for staying with us. You're watching Plain Speak with me, Shivani Gupta. On Thursday, 5 soldiers were killed and 1 was injured after an army vehicle was fired upon in Jammu and Kashmir's Poonch. This is the biggest attack post-Pulwama, in which 44 CRPF Jawans lost their lives. Army has launched a massive search operation to nab the terrorists. Army and security agencies